Yes, what's happening, people? We are back. The Race for Europe show is back. There's no Errol tonight. There's no LB, so we do have a very good replacement indeed. And Dan Lawless is going to be with us, but he's running a little bit late. No idea where Maz is. Maz actually won, but said he might jump on if he can. I mean, normally we don't see Maz if they lose, but they actually got a result. So, I need to go cook Billy. I might make it, he said. So there we go.
Where's the video for Billy? Where's the video for Billy? All of us get cooked week in, week out. Sam,
do you know what?
Sam.
I did say this to Sam, but Sam rightly and all wrongly, I think it's wrongly, but rightly in his eyes, said he's got to wait until next week because if we do a video. If we do a video and Villa turn it around 2-0, then he's gonna. Then
I respect that from Sam. I was actually going to say. I swear to God, I had the message typed out and thought, no, I'm not going to do that. I was going to send you a message and say, be very careful. It's only half time.
Well, yeah, you are very good on WhatsApp chatting shit. Things like that.
I don't hold out much hope. I don't hold out much hope. But fair play to Sam.
This had better be biblical next week, Sam. If they get knocked out, I want biblical. I want Martin fucking Scorsese.
But lads, there has to be a guarantee that Billy's here, because the classic, the old classic, that video gets put together and Billy's nowhere to be seen.
I will be here.
If we get the message, he's not available. I'm buying a body cam and we're flying to Spain. We will find him, mate.
Well, listen, let's see what happens on Thursday night. I can guarantee this time next week, Billy will either be safe or he will be clipped to heaven. I'll tell you that now. So, Sam's never let us down so far. Listen, big up to Nobbins, man. No LB tonight. How are you, sir? Thanks for jumping on.
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me again. I'm exceedingly well because in that 30-second break, my girlfriend came and brought me some chocolate churros. So I'm going to be I absolutely iconic scenes, I know. So yes, but I'm very good. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, listen, bro, you're always welcome on this channel. You know that.
So you definitely want that. Jesus Christ.
I mean, like, Dan's wife doesn't even bring him Cheerios, let alone churros. Do you know what I mean? So,
very good.
I'm here all week. No, listen, we are going to start with Nobbins because we might as well touch on this title race. Touch on it. I've got to ask you, bro. Do you know what? I'll be honest with you. Tottenham, Hotspur, and West Ham United are a disgrace. They are shockingly bad, embarrassing to watch, so poor defensively. West Ham haven't kept a clean sheet since, I think it was December or something like that. Tottenham Hotspur, just what they are, mate. It's just how we are, mate. Doesn't want to change anything. 15 goals conceded in 4 games. Well, I'm going to keep going, mate. Not going to change anything, mate. Absolute disgrace. So we've got no hope with these two teams. It will be at least 3 or 4-0, both of those games. So Fulham are my only hope. And I'm going to pray that Bert Leno can do something because he's a gooner. I'm going to pray that Alex Iwobi can do something because he's a gooner. I'm going to pray that although he was terrible, Willian is back and does something because he was a gooner. But I don't hold that much hope. Do you think you're going to win all 3 and win the title, Nobbins?
Yes, I'm going to commit. I'll say yes. We should. Anyway, for me, when I looked at those fixtures, post Arsenal draw, me and LB looked at them and we're like, right, we need 9 wins from 9 if we're going to win the title. The ones that I earmarked, obviously Spurs away, because I know they're only Spurs and but we are still yet to score a Premier League goal at their ground. So, and in 4 attempts, I think as well. So that's still a thing. Again, we've missed more penalties at their ground than scored goals at their ground. The game for me was Forest away, where I looked at that and was like, genuinely, we might be in trouble here because, a team fighting for their lives. We got a draw against Forest last year as well. And to be fair, I was right to be worried because we should have dropped points in that game. There was no way we deserved a win there. It was scandalous, the fact that we got a win then. The stage of the season we're in now, I don't think Fulham are playing for anything that I'm aware of. Spurs may very well be out of the top 4 picture by the time that they come to take us on. And then West Ham, again, last day of the season, I don't think they'd be playing for anything necessarily. So we should be winning. We should be looking to win every single game. Of course, we can't rely on your team at Arsenal to drop points. It might do against United, you never know. And maybe Dan's team could do something for me. But yeah, we've just got to take each game as it comes, rely on ourselves, and somehow we find ourselves in a position where if we win these 3 games, which we should be winning, we'll win the title and a 4th in a row. So yeah, I'll predict us to win. Why not? 3 in a row. Let's go for it. Which would be 9 in a row, which would be the most we've done all season, by the way.
Well, I said we're going to win the last 8 after our or was it a 9? I can't remember now. Whenever our draw was at the Etihad, I left there thinking, well, Man City are going to win them all. That means we've now got to win them all. And we didn't. We lost to Villa at home. And since then, I mean, let's be real. Arsenal could actually finish on 89 points, lose 1 game in 2024 and not win the league. That is what we're up against. It is absolutely phenomenal that what Man City are. It really is. They are a juggernaut. And unfortunately, we have to try and bring it down to our level. I will say this, though. Unfortunately for Arsenal, Liverpool, I kind of think are out of it now, if I'm honest. And I know
definitely,
I think that's done. For me, Haaland, I mean, if Roy Keane wants to do anything more to piss this guy off, then he needs to just keep his mouth shut. And I like Roy Keane, but since he's called him a League Two player, the geezer can't stop scoring. I mean, he's banged 4 in at the weekend, coming in form at the right time. KDB and Foden. I've got to say, I'll bring you in, Pete. I know you're kind of rooting for Arsenal lightly, and I just don't think we're going to do it now. This team are ridiculously good, man. And West Ham, Spurs, and Fulham. I mean, come on, man. They're London clubs, but are they going to do us a favour? Not sure.
I don't think so. I'm not going to lie. I think, even if those 2 teams, West Ham and Tottenham, were playing well, I just think this Man City team have just kicked up another gear. Like, they're just playing with that mentality that they are just not going to let anything slip. And I have to say, if they do it, it'll be nothing short of sensational. To hit that 4 Premier League titles the way they've done it. They haven't been convincing this season in many parts of the season, haven't been great in parts, but to kick in gear the way they have. And like Nobin said, to almost decide, right, we've got to win 9 out of 9 and then just go and do it. Like that is seriously impressive.
I remember those days. There you go.
Days. And we have to say, if that does happen, it would be a massive shame for Arsenal because you guys have kicked into gear and you all fans, apart from Arsenal fans, were even some Arsenal fans were calling you at the beginning of the season. I remember on this show saying, you're grinding out these results, you're doing it the other way, rather than playing that nice fancy football. But you've kicked into gear the second half of the season and played some really good football. You've played some fantastic football. You won convincingly in games. You've looked like a title-winning team. So it would be a shame for Arsenal, but when you're coming up against a juggernaut like Man City, at the end of the day, it is what it is. They are just they're just a hugely impressive unit, and I fully expect them. Everyone's saying the Fulham game's the big game for me. I don't think it is. I think Man City are just going to steamroll all 3 teams.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm with you. They're definitely going to steamroll Spurs and West Ham. I mean, everyone is at the moment. As for Fulham, I don't know. There's something about Craven Cottage that it can be a tough place to go. It can be. Arsenal found that out. Spurs found that out. I expected Liverpool to have a tough game there. So Fulham are a team to be respected, but Man City will respect them, and I do think they'll beat them, and I do think they'll beat them quite comfortably. But it's the only one I can cling on to because the other 2 teams are so crap that I just expect him to get hammered. This is the problem. They've given up. West Ham have given up on Moyes. Their players have clearly given up on everyone. I mean, I don't know if you saw them against Chelsea. They were absolute disgrace. I've never seen a team so woeful all season in my life. And Tottenham have just decided to let in goals for fun at the wrong time. So Tottenham fans, Man City fans will be like, oh, the Tottenham one, that's the one. We never do well there. You will. Like the tactics are a shambles. Basically, you get a set piece, you might as well get a penalty. And they play such a high line that you'll be in and out having fun for hours. So for me, it's that Fulham game. I just can't see it. Dan, United, please just roll over against us, please. You don't want the 4, Pete. Just roll over against us and we'll be fine. To be fair, I say that. We really should
have some professional pride, Dan. Have some pride. Come on. Get the 3 points.
I say this, Nobbins, we really should be going there and winning quite comfortably because that team.
Yeah, Liverpool said that, mate.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm asking to roll over, mate. That's why I'm asking to roll over.
Aston Villa said that, didn't they, Billy? Nobbins, I got a question. How are you feeling? How are you feeling playing Wolves at the weekend? Were you confident?
Yes.
Good. Nice to hear a Man City fan that's confident because we had to withstand LB as he's done several times this season. Go, that's it. Season's over if we don't do this. Season's over, and then afterwards, all of a sudden, he's like, "What are you talking about?" So, Nobbins, love that, mate. Lovely to hear confidence in the chat.
Yeah, I mean, LB. It was actually quite embarrassing from LB, wasn't it? Let's be real. We beat Bournemouth, which I think most people on the stream expected us to. And then he's before the game's even kicked off. Oh, this is the day Arsenal win the league. We're going to mess this up against Wolves. I can feel the pressure. I don't think we're going to beat Wolves. This is going to go wrong. And then Billy sent an unbelievable clip where you're 3-1 up, and he's going, I'm worried here. We ain't playing well enough. I'm worried.
You better not fucking bottle this now.
It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe
then
what I was
14 seconds, literally 14 seconds later, he's there celebrating that fourth goal.
It was crazy. But listen, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna feel a little bit like that when you play Fulham first, and we got to wait that extra day playing Man United. Because when you go first, you want to go first, Nobbins. Do you know what I mean? Because then you get it done, and then you can sit and relax. But so I get it. I understand where LB was coming from, but it just got to a stage where I was just thinking, come on, man, you're beating Wolves. Like, Wolves have got no team out at the moment. Like, let's be real. It really was crazy.
I think it depends on the opponent, doesn't it? Because there are some teams where you look at it, and if we exclude like the bigger boys, because obviously you're going to be nervous going into them, but I think like Billy's team, Aston Villa, they gave us the worst game all season, if that makes, like, in terms of, like, they forced us to be terrible in terms of how they press us and how they set up against us. So I think the only way that like Fulham can maybe have a chance is if they do a similar thing. I don't know if they're going to be able to implement that, because Aston Villa are obviously a very good side. And I don't know if they'd even want to implement that. But yes, that's why I'm hoping it's not coming across as arrogance. That's why I do think we should be beating Fulham. If it was of Aston Villa, I'd be very scared, but it isn't. So I'm quite chill.
Yeah, listen, we're having massive problems apparently, guys. I mean, the views have gone right the way down. I don't know what's happened with the stream. It looks as if apparently it's not working. It says that we're still live on mine, but I don't know if it does on others. Some people are saying they've got it. Some people are saying it's gone off. Some people are saying we're back. So we're going to keep going. And just some people are saying it's working. Some are saying it's buffering. Some are saying the screen's gone blank. I imagine it's a YouTube or StreamYard thing. I don't know. But it sounds like it's gone. So we're going to keep going, and hopefully you guys can refresh and hopefully keep on with us and join us. But we had about 400 people in here. Now we've got about 180. So I don't know what's happened. Something's clearly YouTube on the beach. There we go. I think that is probably what's happened. Listen, could it be, Billy? I'm just going to put it. The top three look like they're down. The top four pretty much looks done. Europe, we're going to discuss in a minute. The title, a lot of people are giving it to Man City. Could this be a little bit of a meh end to what was going to be an exciting season now? Yeah, that's the word.
I think a little bit, yeah. I think everyone kind of thought that the title would go down to the last day, which it still probably will do. The top four looked like it was heading that way in Europe as well. So I do think it's a little bit of an anticlimax. But if you look at the season as a whole, I mean, what a season it's been, because it really has been so up and down in those little sections of the title race, top four, Europe, relegation, that kind of thing. So if you look at the season as a whole, I think it's been a really good, really exciting season. But I do understand what you're saying, that it's been a little bit of an anticlimax, because we all kind of now know with 2 games to go what's going to happen, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and I pray that it's going to be an exciting last game at the top. That's all I pray. Nobbins is shaking his head. He just wants it done. He wants it won. You know what I mean?
Boring. We want boring football.
Listen, you could get that, to be honest. It could end in a bit of an anticlimax. I think it probably will. I don't expect any massive twist or turns. If there is a twist or turn, knowing Arsenal, it will be us that bloody bottle it or lose to Man United. I've seen this story before, but it's one of those.
Who we've got? We've got no one. I don't understand. I just don't understand why you're concerned about coming to Old Trafford.
It's Man United. You always
know how to do do it, man. You seem to find a way. Last season you beat us. You beat Liverpool.
Yeah. Last season we beat you with, if I remember rightly, we beat you with Martinez, Luke Shaw, Dalot, Varane, Casemiro in form. Do you know what I mean? It's different. It's a complete different.
Mate, I think you have more faith in Johnny Evans, bro. Come on.
Sir Johnny, of course. Sir Jonathan. But but we've rushed him back tonight, and it's going to be the same. It's going to be the exact same.
I mean, it is mad. Look, the title race will move from that, because for me, I think it is literally going to be Arsenal winning their games, City winning their games, unfortunately, City will win the title for a 4th year running. Are we becoming a Farmers League? That is the question. Are we becoming a Farmers League? That's for another podcast. Listen, let's move to Man United because you have got Crystal Palace tonight at Selhurst Park. What is your team news, please, Dan? Because it's come out now and a lot of people are questioning what's going on at Manchester United in terms of the injuries. So go on.
It's a great team. It's a good, honest, hard-working team. A team of people that are going to give their all, I think. I don't know. It's horrendous, Potts. Looking at this, I've got it here. Anana in goal, Wan-Bissaka right back, Dada left back, Johnny Evans, who has not played for a while, to come back and probably come off after half an hour injured, Casemiro at centre-back. The midfield, the one positive is, as much as I'm so gutted that Bruno's not there tonight, because love him or hate him, he does seem to, especially the last 6 weeks, have been dragging United kicking and screaming through games. Mason Mount starts tonight again. Mason Mount, who's been injured all season. It's a worry. It is a worry. I kind of just want this season gone so bad. Like it's kind of like when you book that holiday, that all-inclusive holiday that you know is going to be free beer, free food. You know, the entertainment's going to be that bad. It's going to be beautiful, but you know you've got 3 weeks of work left first. That's where I'm at the moment. I just want to get work out of the way and then we'll chill. A lot of stories going around this week. I mean, some farcical ones. The first one being the Ten Hag linked with Bayern Munich. I just don't know where these stories come from, if I'm honest. It just feels like at the moment, I think the problem we've got is there are no good managers out there available. So Bayern Munich have tried to go for a few, they've rejected, and now they're sort of going down the list. I've actually, and I'm getting bantered a lot for it, I've flip-flopped a little bit with regards to Ten Hag. I'm actually going to say I'm going to give him another 12 months.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. Absolute flip-flop.
Crazy.
Wow. Come on in. You can't leave us on that note. Come on.
No. I was going to talk, but I got met with violence. I got met with objects.
Go on in.
No,
Pete was doing the action. I've got the object.
Well, nice to see you have a bit of fire on screen, Billy. To be fair. No, I'm gonna be honest. The reason is I get it. It's a good PR spin. I get that. I understand that. I'm not naive enough to know that. But when I look at it, there's two factors here. The first one is this season with the team we're going to have behind us. I fully believe Dan Ashworth will be here soon now, Pete. Now with who is it you've got? Is it Dougie Friedman? I think that'll
not confirmed yet, but yeah. So we'll talk about it in a bit.
Yeah. But I think that's the formality now. I think once Dougie Freeman's in there, I think we'll get Dan Ashworth. So with the team of people we're going to have behind the scenes, I feel like they're going to give him the time to work with them. I think bringing in the players around and all that malarkey. But the second thing for me is I've sat here all season and I've said he's not good enough. But who's going to come in and replace him? Like who is actually? Let's be honest. Who is going to come in and replace him? Gareth Southgate. I'd rather put an Arsenal shirt on for the rest of the season. I mean that. Graham Potter.
You're very welcome.
Yeah. Graham Potter. Excuse me. Graham Potter for me displayed exactly what he is as a manager when he went to Chelsea. We talk about a toxic atmosphere at Manchester United. Those players would eat him up. We saw it at Chelsea. We're not going to get one of the big managers that are out there. Then they're not coming. So for me, I'm going to sit there. I'm not saying I'm flip-flopping and saying I want him. He's going to win us the Premier League. But at the moment, I kind of feel like better the devil you know. Give him the 12 months. Let's see how he goes. If after the 12 months it's gone horribly wrong again and we're still in this position, well, then we can say, yeah, we were right. He's not right for the job. But you do have to give it to him. He's had a lot of injuries at the back this season. Like, okay, Potts, if Saliba and Gabriel would have been injured most of the season, where would you be?
Yeah, and do you know what, Dan? I do sympathise with your injuries. I will say that. It has been a poor season. Do you know what? There's been a few like that. Newcastle are like that as well, right? Brighton as well. But I just think Ten Hag, when he has had the players fit, I still don't really see a style of play. I don't really think he's improved any of the players. I'm not going to slate him for the scouting and bringing the players in because I don't believe that should ever have been his job. But he has got that badly wrong. I think what you are saying, if I'm reading between the lines, is let's get the structure right first and see what you can do with a structure. Correct. And if he's still underperforming, by Christmas, you get rid and you bring someone else in. I guess that's what you're saying.
Correct. And the other thing we've got here as well is this would be our another 2-year cycle of a manager coming in, having a really good first season, struggling the second season because the players aren't obviously good enough. We bring a new manager in, and the same thing would happen again. I think, as much as I've been his critic, I kind of feel like if the management, if the board truly believe in him, they're going to have to back him and ride this out and see if this changes. We can't forget last season that, we did win a cup. We were in the FA Cup final. We got Champions League, albeit a lot of teams around us were poor. But I just kind of feel like if we're gonna go down that road of bringing someone else in, it has to be a manager that can deal with the squad, can deal with the problems that are at Manchester United. And at the moment, I don't think there's a manager out there, A, that's available, and B, that actually wants that.
You know what? Just to add to that, Dan, and I don't know whether this has been part of your thought, and I don't know whether you were going to go to this next, but is part of your thinking, or could it be potentially with these links that are not going away with regards to Bayern Munich? Because I'm looking at that personally, and I'm thinking, why do they want him? And is there a worry that he goes there and actually is successful, which then points the finger right back to the club again?
Yes and no, Pete. Yes and no. Look, managers go to clubs and it doesn't work out. This wouldn't be the first time it's happened, and it won't be the last. So I'm certainly not sat there terrified that if he does leave and goes on to be successful, that we'll be in the mud. It is what it is. But the other side of it is, I don't think he'll go Bayern Munich. I don't think he will, mate. I can't see it.
There's already rumours that he's waiting for Man United's next move to decide whether he does go.
I can't see it. I just don't see it. And again, I go back to also, if I'm Ten Hag, Bayern Munich are interested in me. Yeah, they're interested in me because everybody else they've asked has said no. So what does that tell you as a manager going to a club? You're not their first choice. You're not their third or fourth choice. So I kind of feel, look, I feel disappointed in myself because I have absolutely battered this bloke the last 2 months. I have. But then I kind of feel I'm a very emotional person. When I watch these games, I sit there and I go absolutely berserk. I genuinely do. My wife hates it, bless her. I sometimes go berserk because I don't look at the other factors. And I'm not going to say that with all the injuries that we've got, we'd have finished first or second or third. I'm not. But I feel like if we'd have had that back four consistently throughout the season, I don't think we'd have been in such a shit position as we are now. I genuinely don't. You got to remember, Johnny Evans come in to play part-time for us, essentially. He was the fifth choice, wasn't he? He has played so many minutes this season. It's ridiculous. We've had to go the whole season without a left back, really. You know what I mean? Luke Shaw, who on his day, I won't have anyone say he isn't top three in the Premier League. He is. He's absolutely incredible on his, when he's fit. So there have been a lot of trouble. But do you know something? If the club is serious about getting everything right and behind the scenes they're doing everything the correct way, give him the 12 months. If they're going to back him, if they're going to back these people they're bringing in to bring in the right players, do it. The one thing I will say is I don't want him anywhere near the transfer market. He shouldn't be allowed to go out there and look at the players he wants. This is why we're bringing these people in now. These people will come in to do the job. So, yeah. That's where I am.
And just lastly, on the transfer window in the summer, I know that we've got a season to still play yet, but for Manchester United, I think most of the fans and you've said just want the season done and then look forward. What are you expecting? Because this window is for the first one is massive for Man United in terms of a new structure. You've got Ratcliffe, you've got Brady, you've got Wilcox, you've got Ashworth when it comes. For me, they have to get that spot on, not like in terms of get 12 players in, because that's not going to happen. But what are you expecting? Because I expect Manchester United to be at least lined up in the first game of the season or first couple of games of the season with an 11 that you go, okay, that's massively improved.
It's not hard, is it? It's not going to be difficult, let's be honest, with how we've been this season. Before I carry on, right, David Oliver, I'm sorry, mate, right? I'm sorry, Dave, but I am going to moan about the injuries, but I've also been very, very, Pete, you'll back me up. I've said this all along. Newcastle would have been a lot higher if it wasn't for injuries. You're not the only one who's had injuries, all right? So don't get me started on that. I can't be dealing with that.
Look, I said to you, Dan, don't do it because we've got a hell of a lot of Newcastle United fans.
I get it.
Everybody's in the chat.
I get it. Yeah. I get it.
They aren't going to have that.
No, I haven't sat here and said we're the only club that's got injuries, though. So I hate that being implied. Load of rubbish.
Dan,
the second thing is...
Sorry, Dan.
Sorry, go on, Nobbins.
I was gonna say, may I challenge you on your injuries thing? Because you've had a lot of United. I've had a lot of non-contact muscle injuries, which I would.
I agree.
Are down to, so could we not be blaming Ten Hag himself for the training and the tactics that he's using?
I agree, but this is something, unfortunately, we won't find out because it's not ever going to be released, is it? It's never that no one's ever going to come out and say it's because of the manager. They are putting money into Carrington. That's the next thing that I know they're doing. They are going to put a lot into that. So maybe that will help. I know when I watched Newcastle's documentary, what they went from to where they are now, that's state of the art. And how long did that take, Pete?
Well, it's only an extension onto their current training. That I think it took like sort of 6-7 months to get it complete to where it is, and they're adding on again to it. I think in the summer. Yeah,
and that fills me with hope. But sorry, Potts, going back to the transfer situation, I'm really excited for this summer. I really am, because I actually feel like this summer we are going to get rid of a lot of people. I think you're going to see Casemiro go, you're going to see Varane go, you're going to see Martial go. Well, straight away, those three are £1 million a week in wages. Straight away, that frees up so much for us. Sancho, people are saying about, he did business in the semi-final. Brilliant. I still don't want him back at Manchester United, because that's the Sancho I've seen at Manchester United. Play one amazing game where you go, oh my God, this kid is amazing, and then come into mediocrity again. So I'm not bothered about that. Put the value up, off he goes. Greenwood will go. Whereas a lot of clubs, I think, will panic about, the FFP and all that malarkey. We will free up funds this summer. Make no odds about that. We will free up spaces in the squad for us to be able to better it. Now, obviously, like I've said before, we have to make sure that the people we bring in are right. And I got crucified for saying this, but you give me 11 Harry Maguire mentality, not ability, mentality. You give me 11 people like that on the squad, you'll do better. We have had so much this season of players, I think, with a weak mentality. I think the blame system, if it's not our fault, we need to bring in the right people. You've seen it with Arsenal, you've seen it with City, you've seen it with Liverpool. They don't just bring in players to their ability, it's the person as well. So that's what I'm looking forward to this season. I get these next 4 games out of the way with the FA Cup final, and let's just go again. Clean slate and go again. Go again.
It's interesting, man. Like, Nobbins, let me come to you, because obviously you're a rival, massive rival. You must be sitting there smirking and smiling, to be fair. I don't like Man United either, so I'm doing the same, right? But if you're looking at it, taking our Arsenal and City hats off, if I was a Manchester United fan, or let me ask you, if you was a Manchester United fan, which might make you shudder, but if you were, would you want which one of the following scenarios would you want? Would you want a Mikel Arteta approach? We're going to take 4 years. We're going to clear this out. We're going to see some progress. We ain't going to challenge for a few years, but we will get them back up there challenging with the likes of City and Arsenal in the next 3-4 seasons. Or do you bring in a manager, let's say like a Hansi Flick or a Simone Inzaghi or somebody like that, and say, right, there's 150, 200 million. Do what you want, but in 2 seasons, I want to be up there with Man City. Like, what if you're a Man United fan? Which approach would you have more faith in? If that makes sense.
I think you've got to do the former. I think you've got to trust the new ownership to be able to get it right, and you've got to think about the long term. I think some Man United fans might not like that, because they'll be like, "Well, I want success now." My retort to that would be, "You haven't had proper success in over 10 years, so where's the rush?" I think it would be better to build strong foundations, have a proper clear out of some of the, no offense, some of the rubbish players, which they have, the lesser players, players who are earning too much relative to their ability.
Agreed.
You also need to have a better stand to the transfer market, because too long United tax has existed. Why has it existed? Because United have given into it. So you need to have a more robust transfer strategy like that. Again, that comes from looking to, again, maybe for a few years you don't challenge for titles in the top 4 or whatever. Again, they haven't probably done that in like 10 years anyway. So I think it just makes more sense to go almost like clean slate, new ownership, build around your fantastic youth players and academy players, i.e. Kobbie Mainoo, that ilk of player, and Højlund, who I think is a fantastic striker, rather than looking to bring in like old guard players like Casemiro and Varane, for example, who are on a lot of money and potentially injury prone. So that's how I would do it personally.
Nobbins, I think everything you say there is spot on. And again, Sam, you can clip this up for next season. I don't mind. If we are next season 5th, fighting for 4th, but we are doing things the right way. Things are going right on the field, and we've got a squad of players that are doing it, that are committed and fighting. I'll be a happy person. I'm not naive to sit here and think, right, new ownership, we're going to have a great summer, we're challenging for the Premier League. We are so far away from that. We are 2 or 3 years at least away from doing that, okay? It just needs to be realism. And that is where I am with Manchester United at the moment. I have to be real. I have to think about where we have just come from. We have just come from a decade of absolute torture. And I mean that. Coming from where Manchester United are, I know teams have been relegated, and I get that. But as a Man United fan, from what we've been used to where we are now, it's been horrendous. There has to be realism. There has to be. Potts, 2 years in with Arteta, I guarantee you were fuming, wanting to get rid of him.
Oh Christ, I was really bad. Yeah, awful.
And so this is where I come in and I say, yes, I have flip-flopped on Ten Hag, but I think I've done it because you have to give the bloke time. You're going to have to, with this new ownership, with this new model, they're going to have to give him a crack at the whip. It's as simple as that.
Do you think though, Dan? Like, and I also asked the panel this: if I'm a Man United fan, apart from Kobe Minu and maybe Hoyland, I wouldn't actually care if any of them went. Like, I'm not going to lie.
I could keep Garnacho all day.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. But I'm like, real talk, I'm struggling after that. I mean, like, Dallow's all right. You know, some of these players are all right. Do you know what I mean? But if Bruno went, I wouldn't care if I'm a United fan. If Rashford went, I wouldn't give a damn. If Sancho went, I know he was great against Dortmund the other night and everyone's now said I'd still get rid because he's not good enough for Man United. I'd look at some of the players that you've had in midfield. The Amrabat signing was a bizarre one for me. You know, there's so many, man, that I look at and I think I wouldn't actually care. So I would have, like, do you know what? Forget Anthony. I mean, absolutely abysmal signing. Maybe Martinez, you could say, to be fair, when he's fit, is not a bad centre half. But, like, let's be real, Dan. Like, even Varane and Casemiro, you wouldn't care if they went, would you?
No. And I've said this. I mean, like, again, on my TikTok channel, I got a lot of stick for saying that I'd sell Luke Shaw in the summer, just mainly because he can't stay fit. We need to build that consistent base at the back. Without that, you're nothing. It has to start from the back. You have to have that consistent team that plays week in, week out. Luke Shaw, when he's fit, is stunning. But we can't rely on him, and that's the issue we have here.
But that's your problem. That's your problem, is that you've just literally named the vast majority of your squad that you're going to get rid of.
Exactly, Pete. And that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
We're in the same boat, and we'll talk about Newcastle in a bit.
Yeah.
We're in the same boat with a number of our squad players that we're finally now starting to get rid of, and that's going to be, you're looking at 3-4 windows, mate, to do that.
Again, I completely agree. But I think this summer you will see a high turnaround of players because it will happen. You'll see because of contracts expiring, people will be gone. So it will. It's inevitable. You will see a turnaround.
Just keep Chelsea in your mind, mate, because that's what.
Oh yeah, no, 100%, 100%.
Signed a load of new players, and look
100%.
at that they've had. There's a risk of that.
Yeah, I agree. But I think we need that. There are positions that we need to sort out, and can it get any worse? That's.
Dan, if you're in a similar position next season, and by that I mean like league table kind of situation, do you still stick with Ten Hag like Arsenal did with Arteta? Do you think the fans will be patient enough to give him that extra year kind of thing, or will they, similarly to what they've done this season, get him out? He needs to go. He needs to go. Will they give him the Arteta length to show what he's able to do, or will they just say, right, you have to go now, this is enough, enough's enough?
I think regardless, Billy, to be honest, mate, I think regardless, the ownership, if it was like this next season and there wasn't any proof of there being progress, I think they would at the end of next season get rid of him anyway. By then he'd have had 2 transfer windows, so there would have been a clearly different side to what we're seeing now. So I think if it's this time next season, we're in the same situation. Out of all the cups, we've gone out of Europe early. Well, we might not even be in Europe next season. I think they'll shake hands and it'll be over then. I do.
Interesting, man. Interesting. Listen, before I bring Billy and Pete in, make sure you do us a favor, people. Make sure you like the stream, and make sure that you subscribe and that you're following all of these guys. They put out loads of content and they're great people. So please make sure that you do that. Also, for those that are lagging, it's YouTube issues, I'm being told. So I do apologize. We've lost a few people again. So it looks like YouTube's causing problems tonight. So it isn't just this channel. It looks like it's a few of the channels tonight. So just stick with us, guys. Before we move to Billy and to Pete, sorry, I want to shout out our sponsors who, to be fair, I must say, have got some unbelievable prizes on offer yet again. So please make sure you go over to footballprizes.co.uk, because on offer we have the Patrick Vieira shirt. Now, this is a Patrick Vieira signed shirt and frame. You can also get the one-off prizes of Nigel Winterburn in one of my favourite away kits, David Seaman and Lee Dixon also on offer, and it is now only £3.16. And you've got until Tuesday for that one, so please make sure that you get involved. Also, if you're not an Arsenal fan and you're a Newcastle fan like Pete, then you've got for £3.16 a discount for Newcastle United's 95 to 96 custom signed framed shirts and one-off prizes here of Rob Lee's shirt and David Ginola also. So please make sure that you get involved for that. If you would like the Leeds United prize as well, I know that Joe's a big Leeds fan on this channel, then they've got their signed shirt as well. Let's big up Leeds and hope that they can do it in the playoffs, unless, of course, you're Dan United who can't stand Leeds. And then Nobbins Manchester City prize, Kevin De Bruyne and Phil Foden shirts, and then some legends, Yaya Toure and Ilkay Gundogan as well. And we go up to the Sir Alex one, which I'm sure that Dan would absolutely like. £3.16. Please make sure you're getting involved in this, people. This is an up, take it back to the good days, man. There's the Sir Alex Ferguson signed shirt, and there's Van Persie and the White York shirts on sale as well. And there, of course, is the Euro 96 prize, the Alan Shearer and Paul Gascoigne England shirt as well. So please make sure you go over there, footballprizes.co.uk. You've got to be in it to win it, people. So please make sure that you do so. Listen, Billy, let's start with you, my bro. Unfortunately, mate, it hasn't been a very good time for you.
Let me just get ready for this. Hang on. I feel like I'm on a night out.
First time I see you smile tonight, man.
I was gonna come to Pete next, but I am gonna go to Billy because Bill, it ain't been a very nice week for you, bro. I can't lie. You know, you've lost to
I've
Brighton.
had better weeks.
Yeah, Olympiacos did you? And I can't lie, man. I thought that was a madness, that game. That one really shocked me, mate. That Olympiacos one. I was like, what? At Villa Park. And then Douglas Luiz misses the penalty. Mate, Emi Martinez is probably your most important player, isn't he? Since he's been injured, you can't get a win. Like, I must say, bro, that has been a poor week. And a lot of the boys are going to give you stick, bro. A lot of the people in this chat are going to give you stick. A lot of the people in the WhatsApp group have been coming for you. And on this show, there's a lot of people that have probably got to say about Aston Villa, including Dan United. So I'll let you have the say first, mate, and then I'll open the mic to the other lads.
Yeah, look, it's not been the best week. I've had worse weeks, you know. Our rivals, Birmingham City, going down to League One, so that's always a positive. However, it could have been an all-timer weekend for us, couldn't it? Really, with solidifying Champions League, all we needed to do yesterday was win, but it wasn't to be. Look, I'm not hopeful that we can overturn it in Olympiacos. Sorry, I'm really not. There's a few more Villa fans that are a little bit more positive than me. But look, these players have played 50 games this season. You know, we've got 4 players that have played 4,000 minutes. They are shattered. They are.
I thought that Emery and you lot didn't moan about this sort of stuff.
I'm not moaning. I'm just making a point.
I thought that you didn't believe in excuses.
It's not an excuse. I'm just making a point.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying that these players are shattered. And personally, I don't think we're going to do anything. I can't see Watkins scoring another Premier League goal this season. Genuinely, they just look absolutely shattered. And with the amount of injuries we've had, you know, it's been tough for us this back end of the season. But look, it is what it is. All the shit that I'll get, I'll take it on the chin and I'll move on. You know, Champions League villains will be there. The thing is, like I say, I can't see us winning. To be honest with you, I can't see us winning for the rest of the season. But it's Spurs, isn't it? So they'll be Spursy. They'll give us Champions League, and we'll be here next season. So it is what it is.
you know what? It's been a tough week for Villa. It's been a tough week, Dan United, for Conza. It's been a tough week for Conza. You know,
playing
best
in his,
English
playing in his
defender.
position as well. It's a tough one because for me, I struggle with this. World-class Conza, best English defender, concedes 8 in his favoured position. I don't understand it. It must be hard for the Villa players because when it's going bad, you look around and you look at the world-class players and you think, where the fuck's Conza gone? Oh, disappeared. So I literally
he's played the most minutes out of any Villa player this season.
Good, he's a
4,100 minutes.
He's a footballer.
Yeah,
he's not me. He's not this size running around doing it, is he? Come on, don't give me that. Bruno Fernandes is missing his first game tonight because of an injury. You don't hear me sat here going, "Oh, he's knackered, mate." No, you've. I just feel like this week, I think it happens. As you say,
of course it does. Absolutely,
you take it on the chin. And if you think for 1 second that I sat here and took any pleasure in watching you lose 4-2 to Olympiacos, losing to Brighton, then you're right because you have been niggling all season. And you know something, Nobbins, I'm sorry you have to see this, mate, because you don't.
I'm enjoying it.
You also got the context. this guy in the chat on this stream, he's lovely. He's the boy that you want to take home and meet the parents. He's the boy that would give you his last pound. On the chat, he is an absolute arsehole. He's an arsehole. He comes for all of us. Whenever people, you're rubbish. On here,
Pete, have I ever said anything to you?
To be fair, I don't think you have.
But
you'll be there soon,
probably only team.
Billy secretly likes Arsenal, and we go back, so I get away with it. But Lawless, you, LB,
Lawless gives it out like there's no tomorrow, so that's obvious. Dan United every day, pretty much. There's a fuck Villa video in there somewhere.
We can't say that. We've been trademarked. Trademarked by Pete. We can't say that.
Trademarked that apparently.
Whereas Man City have sent out letters for the 115 comments, Pete's actually sent a letter out from his solicitor saying that if I say it again, I'm going to owe a lot of money out. So I can't say it.
Crazy.
Making notes. I'm just making notes.
It's Dan United and Lawless that I'm there for. That I niggle away at every now and then. Mainly because of how funny it gets. It is to see.
Not even that, Billy. It's not even that. You genuinely believe that Conza is world class.
Yeah, I do.
I can't understand it.
You don't have to.
I've tried.
Nobbins' perspective on this.
Nobbins. Yeah. That's a really good point, Pete. Really good point, Nobbins. It's great having you on this show, mate. I've never met you before, and I hope to meet you again. You seem like you're a guy who's switched on with football, has got his head screwed on, got a lovely head of hair there as well. Can you please tell me what your thoughts are on Conza being world class? Please tell me.
Yeah, that's crazy. I like Conza, but look, world class is very subjective. So technically no one's wrong. But for example, I don't think Conza's as good as John. I don't think Conza's as good as John Stones. I would never label John Stones as world class personally.
Billy, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on John Stones?
Personally,
no. I've got the message here. Was it couldn't lace his boots? Was it something along those lines you said about?
Probably.
Who couldn't lace whose boots?
John Stones.
Ezri Conza is a better defender than John Stones. Now, John Stones is a footballer, and what he can do on the ball and whatnot is probably better. However, as a defender, in my opinion, Ezri Conza is better.
What do you mean by defender? You mean defending?
Defending, yes.
Active defending.
Active defending, yeah.
What about inactive defending?
I don't know what that means.
Blocking passing.
Just staying in position.
Blocking passing lanes, for example.
Well, he's a defender. He's the one at the back making the passes.
No, pardon?
Do you think Billy? Do you think Conza's better on the ball than John Stones?
No, no. That'd be ludicrous to say because John Stones is a very, very good ball playing centre back. But as a defender, attacking team, you're defending. As a defender, he's better, in my opinion. Look, I might not be going into all these intricacies of inactive defending and whatever bollocks that is, with respect to Dobbins.
It's important stats is what it is, but okay, yeah, you're right.
That's not something that I look at. I'm not Unai Emery, am I?
Is he better than Ruben Diaz? He hesitated. Oh, gosh, I'm upset.
Yeah, probably not, no.
Okay.
I do rate Ruben Diaz. Ruben Diaz's quality. What I don't understand, genuinely, is this John Stones loving. I really don't understand it. So I don't think, as a defender, he is necessarily that good.
You're right. A treble winner. Yeah, you're right. What are we talking about?
Fucking Scott Carson's a treble winner, for fuck's sake. Doesn't make him the best.
No, he isn't, though, is he, Billy? Because he hasn't played any minutes, so he's not a treble winner.
But he's still part of the squad.
Load of rubbish.
Look, I have my opinion on it.
I like it.
If football's about opinions, if we all had the same opinion, it'd be boring. This is my opinion. This is a hill that I'll die on. I don't really rate John Stones as much as everyone else. I think Ezri Konsa is better than him.
Billy, you're the type of guy that would see that bird on baby reindeer and go, "She's misunderstood," you know.
I've not seen it, to be honest with you. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Would Conza get into the Arsenal and Manchester City first 11 in your opinion, Billy?
I don't think he would get into the Arsenal 11 because Saliba and Gabriel, along with Ben White, have been phenomenal, and obviously he's not a left back. I think he probably could get into the Man City squad.
You said he was better than Ben White.
Huh?
You said he was better than Ben White.
I do think he's better than Ben White, but I don't think he would get into the squad. Into the
who'd he play over at City?
John Stones.
Oh,
so Conza is going to do the John Stones role.
I think if he's coached in that way, he could do, yeah.
But I could say about anything. I could say if any player's coach should do anything, they could do it. Can he do it right now?
Probably not. No.
Right, so he wouldn't get over Stones, would he?
I think he's a better player than him.
Would he get in? If he was to get in?
Sorry. No, you don't.
I think he's a better defender. I think he's a better defender than him.
You said the Stones is a better footballer, so therefore you think he's a better player.
Possibly.
He's loving this.
I've been fucking wrapped up into a not fair play. Get LB back. Where the fuck's LB? He doesn't fucking tie me up like this.
Robbins, if I could sing a song, mate. I've been waiting for a guy like you to come and sort him out. Oh my days! This is
fair play, Dobbins. You've tied me up.
This is above my wedding day. This is.
I just want to be clear. I really like Conza, by the way. Fantastic footballer. Just want to establish that. Very good footballer.
Yeah, I thought you might. When I said about him getting into the first, I thought Billy was going to say he'll probably get in ahead of Kyle Walker at right back. That's what I thought he was going to say. But I would actually rather have a Kanji. But I think Kanji's quality.
Pete, you have done a beauty there, mate. You have absolutely done a beauty there.
Yeah, Pete. I mean, big up, man. Maybe I should make you the host, to be fair, because that was a great shout. That was a great shout. That was a great shout. No, big up. Listen, Bill. In all seriousness, 2 questions before I move to Pete. Do you think you can turn it around? Is my first question. And Champions League football is there, isn't it? It's done.
First question. Personally, I don't think we will turn it around. I think we're running on fumes with that guy in the marathon who got into running 18 months ago.
Mate,
and
I've got a story about that. That's my mate Jim. That's my mate Jim.
This is a hypothetical story. I've got.
He was on the news about it and everything. I was like, "That's my mate
What's
Jim."
What's going on now?
I'm so lost.
Sorry, Dad. I've no idea what you're going on about. This is a hypothetical story.
Jim. I was like, "Who is?"
That's my mate Jim.
Continue, Billy. There's a story there, but continue.
What is happening?
Yeah. No, with that guy at the marathon who's just got into running about 18 months ago or so, just been casually getting better and better. You know, 10K is all he really goes to. Decided to sign up for the London Marathon. He's doing really, really well, really well. Last little bit, he just can't keep on going. He's just stumbling over the line, but manages to get over the line in 4th. And that's Aston Villa. We'll get over the line, but we're not making it easy for ourselves.
Do you know what that
running on
sounds like?
fumes.
That sounds like Dan's mate Jim. That's what it sounds like to me.
Jim.
If I know Jim, and I think I do.
I'll go and read the article then.
Mate, that's class. That was. Do you know when you feel like maybe I am taking LSD here at the panel and not with me because I was so lost in that moment. That's my mate Jim, and I was like, right, I've really taken saying.
I was trying to lock in. It was like,
he was on the news.
Jim.
In the London Marathon, he was on the news because he got near the finish and he faltered, and some bloke picked him up and helped him. So that's why I was like, oh my god. They're talking about
that's also a great example because that's Spurs picking us up and dragging us over the line because they're so shit.
It would have worked. It might the analogy crazily could have worked.
That's in fact that's a better analogy. Fair play, Jim. And respect to the bloke that picked him up as well.
Fair play, Jim. Listen, Billy, I thought you were going to win the Conference League. I'm not too sure I've got much faith in it now. Lawless is going to absolutely destroy you. You're going to have to hold it, mate. But
what I will say though, it is only half time. Like I say, I'm not holding out too much hope. I don't think we'll do it, but we could. Obviously, football's a crazy game, isn't it?
And if you do win 2-0, you deserve it, man. You deserve to go.
I'd snap your hands off for a 2-0, take it to extra time.
100%.
Martinez should hopefully be back, so that'll make a huge difference as well. So yeah. I like I say, I'm not holding out too much hope.
I can't see Newcastle not scoring on Thursday. So you're gonna have to go out there and absolutely obliterate them with.
I mean, this is the thing. They earlier in the Conference League season, they lost 4-1 in a home leg to Tel Aviv. Went to their place and turned them around 6-1. So
you're going to need to be.
They've shown that they can concede goals. In my opinion. I think you're
going to need to be like 2-0 up by half time or something crazy like that to be comfortable.
Yeah, to be honest, I think we just need an early goal. If we can get an early goal, I think they start to panic a little bit, and then we've got the rest of the game to grab another. So
yeah.
Like I say, I don't think we'll do it. We're running on fumes. I just can't see the players being able to get themselves.
I had so much confidence in Douglas Luiz, man, as well, stepping up. I really thought he was going to put it in, and then that was when I realised Villa were probably going out when that hit the post. I was like, that's going to kill him off now. But I could be wrong, man. But listen, Champions League football. Emery deserves credit still. Champions League football, Villa have been unbelievable this year with a few more players. I think they're in the right direction, man, and I think that you should be excited as a Villa fan for sure, man. So
100%, 100%. Going into the summer, I think we're going to have an active summer as well. Alex Baena is someone that's already being linked with us. 30-40 million, they reckon, could pull him away. So
wow.
Yeah.
Well, there we go, man.
Baena at Villarreal.
Oh,
never know, mate. Jack Grealish could be knocking on the door again, Billy. You never know, mate.
Or John Stones.
No.
Or John Stones.
He wouldn't get in.
Neither of them would get in. They wouldn't get in the side. Neither of them would. Listen, we've got to move because we've got a football game that's just literally just kicked off now. So I need to let Dan, you can shoot off whenever you need to, mate, if you want to go watch it, bro. No, he wants to stay here.
I've got it here, mate. I've got it here, so don't worry about me.
Fair play, man. Listen, we're going to be 10, 15 minutes more. Listen, Pete, got to come to you on Newcastle, bro. Big up to you, man, because I was on a stream with a Newcastle fan earlier, John, and he was talking about Newcastle, and I just said, if they had some of their players back this season, who knows where they would have been. I have to say this, though. I do think that Bruno and Isak are going to make some Newcastle fans get very, very nervous. Now, I know people in the chat were going mad when I did a stream on it. Was it yesterday or the day before? I don't know what it was. Maybe it was yesterday. They didn't want to hear it. But I know what it's like, man. I've been in that position where you've got players that want to go and be ambitious and go and win stuff now and not enjoy a project that could last 2-3 years, maybe 4 years, even 5 years for all we know, especially with Man City around as they are. And I've lost Fabregas, I've lost Van Persie's, I've lost Ashley Cole's, the list goes on. And I know with Bruno Guimaraes being linked with City, Arsenal and PSG, and everybody looking at Alexander Isak, I mean, why wouldn't they be? 20 goals in 27 games and the guy's injured. It's crazy. You might be confident you're keeping them both, and they might both stay at Newcastle. I have no ITK knowledge. I have no idea. My perfect dream summer would be going and get both of them. I think they're unbelievable players, and that's a massive compliment to Newcastle because I think they are quality. But this season, European football is probably looking in the favour of yourself. I've got to say that. I think Newcastle will finish and play European football next season. I think you're playing well enough. I think you've got the players back now. and it makes me question where Newcastle would have been with the squad fully fit. I do think, I don't know if you're going to get all this in one window, but I do think you need 5 or 6 players. That might take more than one window with PSR as well. We don't know what's happening there. But keeping Isak and Bruno G is massively key, in my opinion, for where Newcastle want to be next season. So talk to me about where you think you'll finish this year and the sort of summer you'll have to make you excited for the following year, mate.
It's been a bit of a mad one this season, not going to lie, because we've talked about it week in, week out. However, the target for us is sixth place. And for us to achieve that with the injuries that we've had, and having to navigate ourselves through will be very, very impressive for the players, in particular for Eddie Howe, to be able to navigate himself through that. December and January were just ridiculous for injuries. We've managed to get ourselves through that and in with the fighting chance. At this moment in time, we look the favourites. Man United played Crystal Palace, not guaranteed to win that game. We stay in 6th place if they don't. And so that puts us in the driving seat. And I never, ever thought a month or two ago that we'd be in that position. So massive props to Eddie Howe for navigating themselves through that and putting us in a position to be fighting for Europe. Now, I do think getting Europe is crucial. You will know back in November, I was saying when we were struggling and getting injuries, I'll take any European football. Back-to-back European seasons is crucial for Newcastle United in our development. And some people turn their nose up to the Europa Conference League, even a lot of Newcastle fans, and that's started to turn itself around because I mentioned it back then. I remember how lawless was when they won that trophy. We haven't won a trophy for 70 years. It would be one of our best opportunities to win it if we got into the Europa Conference League. So I would take that all day. However, financially and competitive-wise, it would be better to play Europa League football. But either one I would take right now. And I think we're in the driving seat to get that. I think we've got Brighton at home on Saturday. Then we go to Old Trafford, which will be a big game. Then we finish at Brentford. I think we're looking to win all 3. Which is great. We've got Joe Linton back, came off the bench on Saturday. Miggy's back. Trippier is going to be back on Saturday as well. We've literally got, apart from the one Botman, Lascelles that have got ACL injuries, and obviously Tonali that's banned, we've now got a squad that's capable of going and winning those games. And some people laughed at Gunnar Lee, kind of like laughing when I was like, our bench is stacked on Saturday. And they don't understand. We've had 2 goalkeepers on the bench. We've had academy players on the bench all season, and we've still won matches. But now we've got Joe Linton, we've got Harvey Barnes, we've got Miggy, we've got Nick Pope that was back on the bench. Brilliant to see. They're options that we haven't had. And I go back to what I've said, and you've just mentioned it, Potts. I'm convinced we have those players available all season. We are fighting with Villa for top 4. Villa are still in a race for top 4. If we, and forget Tottenham for a second, because I think we would have outplayed Tottenham, would have outpointed them. If we had all those players fit, we'd have been in a Champions League race. And I'm absolutely convinced of it. With 3 or 4 top signings in the summer, which I believe we will get. We're already linked to this afternoon with Michael Elise. We've been linked with him before. I know Man United looking at him. Like, Miggy will leave. I'm convinced of it. And we will get a quality right wing come in, whoever it is. But we are looking at quality players to come into this team. And if we do that, bringing back Tonali, we will be in a top 4 race next season. I am absolutely convinced of it. However, going back to the Bruno Guimaraes and the Isak conversation, for me, and I've said it to you, Potts, and you don't believe me when I say it, but Alexander Isak is staying at Newcastle United. He's not going anywhere. And rumours
No, it's not that I don't believe it. It's not that I don't believe that. I think he will stay. It's Bruno that I have a question mark over. But I don't know that Isak will be here for 5-6 years like Newcastle fans want, unless you start winning titles and Champions Leagues or something like that to make him, to match his ambition. That's what I'm getting at.
That's a conversation for another season.
Absolutely.
And maybe this time next year, we maybe have that conversation. But for now, Alexander Isak doesn't go anywhere this summer. And there are rumours in the nose, various others that are saying that he's agreed a new contract. It's going to be announced in the next few weeks. Apparently no release clause. If that happens, amazing, absolutely amazing, exactly what we want, particularly the no clause, because it puts the emphasis back on the club. It puts the power back with the club again. However, Bruno Guimaraes is a completely different story. Bruno Guimaraes has a 4-week window in which that 100 million release clause can be activated. And that's what worries me. Now, losing Bruno Guimaraes is absolutely huge for Newcastle United. There's a big gaping hole there. He is a superb player. We have to remember, he came to us when he didn't have to. We were in a relegation battle when he came to us from Lyon. And he didn't have to come to us. And he has been the epitome of leadership and passion and determination to get Newcastle United to be the best versions of themselves. And he epitomizes that. And he's done it this season. He's barely missed a game. He went 10, 11 games needing just one booking for a 2-match ban and breezed through it and actually played man of the match performances despite that. Like, he is a top level player. He gets into any Premier League team, including Man City. He is that good, in my opinion. And I would be absolutely devastated to lose him. However, it's not in our hands. So it is a massive worry. And I do think, personally, I think if he's going anywhere in England, he's probably going to Man City. Pep's got a massive love-in with him. Every time we play Man City, he doesn't even have to be asked the question. He just starts talking about Bruno Guimaraes. He absolutely loves him. He makes a beeline for him every game we play against them, and always has an embrace with him every game. There is a connection there, clearly. And Bruno talks about him positively too. So for me, if he's going anywhere in England, he goes to Man City. But ideally, if he's going to leave, I want him to go PSG, because if he leaves, I don't want him in the country. I don't want the pain of having to stay for another Premier League. But
if he was to go, would you rather him go to City or Arsenal?
I think most Newcastle fans would be very, very comfortable. If he was to leave, would be more comfortable, should I say, him playing in a Man City shirt. Because
why? So they can go win the league.
Because Arsenal smell. That's why, Dan. Your team smells.
Look, the Man City are a juggernaut. They go and win titles, and if Bruno's to leave, they would want him to go and be successful and win trophies to justify the move. Ultimately, now, although he could still be that success at Arsenal, it's not as much of a sure thing. And so I think I'm just thinking from a Newcastle perspective, I would much rather him go there because it's Man City and it's Pep. And actually, I just think he'd fit their style perfectly. He's an elite footballer. He is. And I just
he definitely fit our style as well. Let me tell you that.
He was.
Incredible footballer. I don't think that Arsenal will sign either. However, I would love them. I would. And yeah, they'd be dream for me. Absolute dream, the pair of them. I think if Manchester City were to get him, then I might just go on support Ipswich Town next season and see if they can get over the border. Come on, my Suffolk boys. Make sure you can stay up the Tractor boys next season. I think I'll just do that, to be honest, because City will just run away with another quadruple or something. But that's me. Listen, I've got to ask you, Pete, as well. I just lastly, I do feel like the Eddie Howe question was at one stage like, God, he's going to struggle. And I even started to, and I really like Eddie Howe, and I want him to stay and be successful at Newcastle. But I even at one stage was like, oh, he's got to start winning soon because this is looking abysmal. But actually, is it argued that he's done a good job because of where you are now? Because let's be real, at one stage you were like flirting with 11th or 12th. Do you know what I mean? It was like looking so bad. You had no players. I think he deserves a mention, really, Eddie Howe, if I'm honest. And I think some people that were questioning it really got it wrong, in my opinion.
Massive credit. And, there were sections of our fan base that were wanting him out in January, losing to Liverpool, losing to Man City at home. They wanted him gone, despite us beating Sunderland in the FA Cup. Like, I think it was maybe the draws to Luton and Bournemouth at home that started to really wind up the small section of the fan base. But for me, I'm reflective. I'm like Dan United. You talked about it earlier. You're emotional. You react to certain things that are happening. And I was the same. Late December, early January, I was getting frustrated with things. I was getting frustrated with the team not playing like we were playing last season, but it's only when you come out of that moment and you look back and you think, actually, we were in a really difficult position. No players to choose from. The selections off the bench. We're having to play players for 90 minutes that weren't even fit because we didn't have the options off the bench. And now we have. We're in a. Oh,
sorry, I'm just looking at the score.
Yes. I'm sorry.
Dan, the worst thing is, I'm about 30 seconds behind. So reading that.
Apparently, the newly linked Michael Elise, who potentially could be playing for Newcastle United next season, hopefully. But oh my God. Even more reason we're going to be playing European football next season, I think, off the back of that, if it continues. But with Eddie Howe, he deserves massive praise because he's gone through a horrible period and navigated himself out of it. And you know why I'm really impressed, Potts, is because he's evolved. I asked the question early January. I said, if Eddie Howe doesn't evolve as a manager, if he doesn't evolve as a manager, he will end up losing his job. Now, he's evolved as a manager, not only tactically, but in the way in which he sets his team up in game as well. And in recent weeks, with making those changes to the squad and having those squad players available, we're seeing him set up differently. He got it wrong against Palace at Selhurst Park. He got it wrong. And I think he admitted that afterwards. But the way he set himself up at Burnley, the way he set himself up against Spurs, the way he changed his system and set himself up against West Ham after Lascelles did his ACL after about 10 minutes. He is being able to make these changes that elite managers like your Pep Guardiolas, even like your Unai Emerys and your Klopps that are able to do in game. He's starting to show me that he can do that. And for me, he's showing that if he can continue that growth, that he can actually navigate us next season, fingers crossed, through Europe, through the Premier League, and potentially 1 or 2 cups. He can navigate us through that because that's what he didn't do this season. But he'll have the squad to do it next season. And I genuinely believe we are massively on the up. I'm not saying we're going to be fighting for the title or anything like that, but I genuinely think we are in the conversation for Champions League next season. And Eddie Howe will be the man to take us there.
Interesting, man. I couldn't agree more. Listen, Dan, I don't know if you've seen the goal. I haven't. Apparently, through your defense.
Yeah, just on the goal, I will say this. The goal, Mainoo's completely lost Elise. If that's Marcus Rashford, people are going absolutely berserk. Absolutely berserk. It was poor. It was so poor. And to all you in the chat saying I got to hold that, hold this. Because seriously, I've said we're shit. I've said we've been shit all season. What have I got to hold?
Oh, dear me. It's going to be a head loss.
Honestly.
I'll tell you what, D is going to be in the chat later. Just mute the group, Dan. Just mute the group.
Why? It's only a fiver. If he's desperate for a fiver.
Yeah, I know, but it's not the fiver that bothers me. It's D. It's his chest that bothers me.
Dan, until you pay up for Ashworth, fuck Man United. Fuck Man United. That's what I say.
Big up, man. Listen, what a way to end. Big up to everybody who's been in the chat. Apologies for the YouTube lag and the disruption earlier. I do appreciate you all for standing by us and for supporting the channel. Make sure you do me a favor. Big up to Nobbins for coming on, man. Make sure you're following Nobbins.
Bring back LB.
No, keep, I'm putting the transfer request in now. The way he picked you to pieces.
That would be fun. To be fair, bring it back to do the same to Lawless.
If Nobbins v Lawless would be quite funny actually, because I mean, that would be brilliant. But absolute pleasure.
Lawless has an answer for everything, though. I'm not like that yet. I'm too young to be able to do that.
Oh, time.
On the chat, mate, you have an answer for everything. Don't give me that. Don't give me
the chat gives you time.
Give me that crap. We can't shut you up on the chat. Don't give me that.
Get Nobbins in the chat. Come on, make it happen.
Yeah, honestly.
No, that's my safe space.
Safe space. Nobbins, absolute legend for coming on, man. Thanks so much, mate. I hope you enjoyed it.
Pleasure to meet you, mate.
Of course, man. Thank you for having me.
Top man.
Oh, man. Come on, you're always welcome, man. Big up to Pete, big up to Dan, big up to Billy. No Lawless tonight, but trust me, he is back on Wednesday to absolutely hold that. And it's going to be fun, actually, because I've got Deji and Lawless who are going to get destroyed. And Don, who is going to absolutely rinse Lawless for the Chelsea thumping. And of course, we've got Dion as with him as well, and Goonali. I mean, that is just ridiculous. It's not going to be a fun play. I'm going to sit there with some popcorn. I'm not even need to host that one. I'm just going to have to sit there and just watch them all just attack each other. It would be absolutely mad. So, yeah, make sure you do that on Wednesday night, people. We're going to get out of here. Make sure you follow all of these guys, please. Nobbins, Pete, Dan, and, of course, Billy. And, yeah, we'll see you next time, people. Peace.